Club members, welcome back. And this month we are focusing on the dark nights.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, we are. We're looking at two amazing black varieties that are prevalent in Champagne, which are Pinot Noir, of course,
and Meunier.
And Pinot Meunier.
And do you know what Meunier actually translates to, Kiri?
What does it translate to, Colin?
I didn't think that was going to be rhetorical. Miller, a miller works with flour, and the Meunier grape has a flowery white coating on its leaf,
Yes.
which is where the name of the grape varietal comes from. But this is a great theme. It's great timing. It's coming in July. We're in the heart of winter in Australia, sadly, but it lends itself to great champagnes with Christmas in July.
Christmas in July, yeah. So as we're getting colder, you know, I always like to introduce these styles of wines in this period because people forget about champagne. Look, we drink a lot of red wine too, but sometimes when you're reaching for a glass of champagne, this is sort of where we're heading.
Bit more richness, bit more spice, and these are the two perfect champagnes for winter.
So the first producer we are looking at is Champagne Perseval-Farge. It is actually owned by Benoit and Isabelle, and they've been farming the land for many, many years. They are wonderful, passionate people, and they are really quite fastidious with what they do. They put everything together in lots of different parcels. And
where are they located?
They're in a premier cru called Chamery. So sort of in the Montagne de Reims meets Vallée de la Marne, but in that little pocket.
Yeah.
And I'm a mad fan of what they do. Again, met them many years ago. This was actually a previous, he featured in a previous edition in May where we had his single vineyard, the Le Goulat, and we had all the forgotten varieties, or the Magnificent Seven.
Great wines.
So we're featuring his wines, and this is sort of where he lives for the majority of the time, and the other ones are really, really hyper special sort of wines. So really great to reintroduce
Awesome house.
this producer to you again. So the wine we're looking at is Cuvée de Pinot. It is a Brut, and we're looking at a percentage blend of Pinot Meunier and Pinot Noir.
So 45% Pinot Noir, 55% Pinot Meunier. Nice composition. I mean, this is a beautiful wine. I loved this wine. Tell me what were you thinking about this cuvée?
Well, what I loved about it is, the thing to note is that immediately it's majority 2013 harvest. Okay, like 86% of it. So what we're looking at is a wine that's actually got some age on it, and a little bit of reserve wine is from 2012, and he keeps some of that reserve wine in barrel, and you can see some of that smokiness coming through in the wine, some spice, but there's this Middle Eastern sort of spices meets mineral earthy dimension.
Cinnamon, spice, and all things nice. You know, there's this sort of the warmth to it. There's this beautiful spice and texture and depth, and
but it's also wonderfully fresh. There's an innate balance of freshness amongst the wine, despite it being as old as it is. There's beautiful finesse and great intensity right to the very last drop.
And I say that this is great for Christmas in July because you've got these Christmas cake kind of spicy maraschino cherry, dark fruit, glazed cherry composition coming through. I mean, I could see this with quail and a dark fruit cherry sauce. I could see this with the Christmas cake. It's got some body, it's got some texture, it's warmth in a glass, but it's great with either meat or with something that's a little bit more savoury.
Yeah.
And the second producer we are featuring this month, very exciting, Benoit Déhu, Initiation.
I'm like a little boy in a sweet shop with this. I love this producer. I love the wines that he makes. He is amongst the winemakers in Champagne, definitely in that sort of underground network. His wine, Le Rue de Noyer, which also appears on our site, is almost
cult.
Yeah. You know, if you're seeking out amazing Meunier, that should be right at the top of the tree.
All right, so let's put it into context. You've got a family that have been around from the 1700s. He's the 8th generation within the family. He served as a period of time in the House of Bollinger, so he winemaking at Bollinger. Bollinger are renowned for oak, roundness, richness,
Noir,
extended aging,
and
magnum aging.
Yep.
He's bringing a little bit of that to this particular parcel. Now we're talking a 1.7 hectare parcel of fruit.
Yeah, right out on the outskirts of, right near Chateau Thierry. So if you look at your maps, we'll bring one up for you now. It goes right to the outskirts of the Marne, and he's in a little town called Fossoy.
Yeah.
So if you know the other producers, Chevrolet Bournazel, that we featured many years ago, they're like literally next door to each other.
Yeah. So tiny parcel, extra brut wine.
Biodynamic as well. So he farms everything biodynamically, and you can in the outskirts there, and also because it's such a small area, it's a lot easier to control. He's
working on the lunar cycle.
Working on lunar cycle, and nothing's filtered or fined. He's got a beautiful little note inside each foil. Carla, if you want to read this.
I will. Would you like it in French or English?
I think you can do your English best.
Bravo. Continue to be curious as you have shown yourself to be in looking elsewhere. So meaning a smaller producer. A little secret, our wines are alive. So let them breathe, smell them, taste, and above all, be patient with them. Let the time do its work. Benoit Déhu.
So hence the initiation into his wine, and that's what he's called this wine. Love the label, by the way. It's super clean and minimal, and that's for me, it's a sort of a form of art.
But it's reflective of his style. He's very non-intervention. He's very minimal in the way that he makes his wine. Very, very talented winemaker.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the wine initiation from Benoit Déhu. I can tell your tail is wagging.
I love it.
This is heartwarming, show-stopping explosion of warmth and spice in a glass. You've got this Madeira.
It's one way of describing it. It certainly is.
You've got this, on the first nose, you get this kind of nougat-y, marzipan, Madeira cake quality, and then with time, as Benoit himself suggests, let it breathe. You get this kind of Vegemite on toast character, or if you're from England like Kiri, you got Marmite on toast, on buttered toast.
There's an abundance of flavour. I think one of the first things I know, it was the amount of bubbles coming out the glass. It was so energetic. It was literally busting out of the glass.
Stars in the sky.
Like a swarm of bees. It was incredible. And then it gave way to sort of the smoky black plum with that fleshy fruit. It had some of that yeasty, leesy character that we talked about with Vegemite, almost like a soy, which is really interesting. You don't see that very often in champagnes. Definitely the more aged ones, but younger ones like this, not so much. And you can see the influence of the barriques, 228 litre barriques, and a little bit of lees interaction to add this layer of complexity and marry these two varieties together.
You're right. So 10 months in a 228 litre barrique, but then you've got a relatively short aging period. So longer aging as a still wine, you've got 30 months aging in the bottle, but that's a relatively short time compared to some other wines that we've looked at.
I think
you've got this.
It's reflective of what he's trying
mousse.
to do. You don't need to do any more than that. And I think when you're aging a wine still in barrel before going into secondary ferment, you're aiming for a style to grab here first with the oak and lees, and then capture that in its development in bottle.
And you've got organics, you've got biodynamics, so he's working towards a lunar cycle. He's only picking in the morning. He's using a 5-step process, very, very minimal from vine to wine. So you've got a really natural wine, and it's alive.
I love it.
He uses natural yeast, which I think is so cool. So he's cultivating yeast from within the vineyard environment. This is a bit hit and miss. It's not an easy thing to do.
But it's much easier when it's a smaller piece of land and you've got a lot more control. And I think there's a lot less disease resistance out where he is.
Oh, so a lot of richness in the wine, a lot of spice, a lot of texture, needs time. What are you serving it with? I'm thinking a truffle risotto, something rich,
that could be good.
Earthy.
We had this at Sacre Bistro. There's Sacre Burger in Reims. And there's Sacre Bistro is in Epinay. And Epinay, they have all the beautiful foods that you expect in a French bistro. And I, of course, had a burger after a long day of champagne tasting because that's what you do. And it was charred. There was some cheese on there. There was some beautiful pickles, and it all just worked. You know, like it could handle big flavor. So whether it's a charred burger, whether it's a truffle risotto, have a play with some of those. Well, to sum up this month, we have the Dark Nights playing in perfect harmony. I can hear Hans Zimmer playing the music in the background and creating this sort of thunderous approach for these two amazing producers. We do hope you enjoy them. Please post on socials. Please share them with each other and with us on the community page and on Instagram. I think there's a lot to be said for sort of undiscovered producers like this. They really show so much in their winemaking that we don't get to see. And
super cool. Two big,
if you are doing a Christmas in July,
features.
Perfect.
Totally. I mean, I agree. It's red fruit at its best. You've got Pinot Noir, you've got Meunier, you've got them blended together. You've got really kit glove winemaking, you know, two very passionate producers, lots of spice, lots of bold flavors, lots of roundness, lots of warmth. Would go with many dishes that you would serve with Christmas in July. I think it'll be featuring on our dinner table this month.
Well, it's inspired me to go and cook.
Ladies and gents, nice to be with you. Great choice again, Kiri. We'll see you on the next episode.
See you then. Mum's just being...
Get the heebie-jeebies out. Big,
Ah! There you go. Got that out.
Excellent.
Just a heartwarming explosion of...
Sorry, you're going to have to start again.
Why?
You said 78 and 12. The numbers don't add up. That's 90%. Where's the rest?
Oh, well, maths has never been my strong suit. Oh, sorry.
Listen, housewife.
Alrighty, counting.
Right? I'll get you cooking in a minute.
Fuck that.
I'm pull your weight.
I'll get the wooden spoon in a minute.
Maths was never my strong suit.
You're doing your mum now. You're actually singing with the things that you say.
That's a Kirkpatrick
Hi,
trait.
Mum.
3, 2, 1.
Sorry. I'm just looking at the audience in the background. Tango's asleep. Arlington's counting in. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.